Our next case of discussion is the rotational stability of floating bodies. When the bodies are floating, then what are the cases for stable equilibrium, condition for stable, unstable, neutral equilibrium, and how we can say that by seeing the position of center of buoyancy and center of gravity, whether the body is in stable equilibrium, unstable or neutral equilibrium. We already discussed the stability of your submerged bodies, and we can say that if the center of buoyancy is above the center of gravity, that is stable equilibrium. If the center of gravity is above the center of buoyancy, it is unstable equilibrium, and if both are coincide, it is neutral equilibrium. Now let us see that how we can discuss the rotational stability of floating bodies. This is somewhat difficult to understand. Just pay attention here. Let us say this is a reservoir, or this is a free surface, you can say. Right, I'll take this a free surface here. Okay, we have to show the floating bodies. Okay, let us say this is the free surface of the fluid. Right, for your understanding, I make it a large free surface. There is a fluid here. There is a fluid here. Let us say we have a body which is floating on this fluid. Right, let us say we have this body. This simple body I am taking so that you can understand it. Let us say this is a body which is floating on this fluid. Right, this is the body. This body is floating. Just pay attention, guys. Right. Let us say this is the initial axis of this body. Right, this is the initial axis of this body. Just for your understanding, we are making this a simple body so that you can understand, because if you refer this in the books, you will not be able to understand why. See, books will say that you need a meta center, you need a, all of you know, if you have some basic knowledge about the floating bodies, you can say that, sir, instead of by showing center of buoyancy and center of gravity in this floating body, we have a different point known as meta center. Right, but nobody will say that why the meta center is required. Right, you may not know that why there is a need for meta center. Why? Because if we see that in the case of submerged bodies, we say there is no need of meta center there. By seeing the position of B and G, we can say whether it is stable, unstable or neutral. But in case of the floating bodies, with the help of only B and G, we cannot tell whether the body is in stable, unstable or neutral. I'll show you here that why this is the case, why you need a meta center. Right, let us say this is the center of gravity of this body. This is a homogeneous body. The center of gravity will be the middle of this. Let us say this is the center of gravity G, and center of buoyancy will be the middle of this. Let us say this is the center of buoyancy. This is the center of buoyancy. We take a homogeneous bodies for your understanding. Right, we know that on the center of buoyancy we have a upward force, buoyance force. On the center of gravity we have a downward force, that is known as weight of this body. I'll not show this here. Let us say this surface, this water interface will cut this body at this, right, this intersection of this surface and this body. Let us say this is X. Right, this is X. If you see here, if you see here that I'll show you the body, this much amount of body is inside the fluid, so the fluid displaced by this body will be this one, right? This is the fluid which is displaced by this body. Just pay attention, guys, right? This is the shape, this is the shape of this body which is inside the fluid. This shape of the body is inside the fluid, and fluid is displaced according to this, and because you can see it is symmetric, the center of buoyancy will be here. Now I tilt this body, now I give it a rotation in the clockwise direction. I'll make a separate diagram here, we'll take the dimensions. Just pay attention, guys, just try to understand what I want. Ki you must know why there is a need of meta center. Otherwise in the books if you refer, and most of you know that if the meta center is above the center of gravity, it is stable. If it is below the center of gravity, it is unstable. If meta center and center of gravity coincide, it is neutral. But most of you will not know why there is a need of meta center. This is the case. First of all, let me make the initial body. Initially the body is like this. Just pay attention. Initially the body is like this. We'll go step by step, no need to be worried. You will be able to understand what is happening with the floating bodies. This is the initial shape of this body. This body initial shape. Now this is the initial body. If I tilt it, just pay attention, if I tilt it in this direction, let us say this length is 10 meter. Pay attention, guys. Let us say this length is 10 meter. 5 meter is below the liquid, 5 meter is above the liquid. I am assuming it. This is also 10 meter, 5 meter above, 5 meter below. If I tilt this in this direction, if you tilt this in this direction, you will better understand. If you tilt this, then this part of the body will come inside the fluid. This part of body will come inside the fluid, and this part of the body, some part of this body of this line will come above the fluid, right? If you see here, let us say this is the body, right? This is the body, this is the fluid surface. This is the body, this is the fluid surface. Below this marker the lengths are 5, and above the marker the lengths are 5. If I tilt this body, like this, you can see, here, right? If you say that this line, if I tilt this body, then this length is going inside the water, you can see, right? This length is going inside the water, and from here you can see that this length is coming out of the water. This length is coming out of the water. Obviously if you tilt this, then if you tilt this at this center only, right? If you tilt this like this, this length will come inside the water, this length will come outside the water. Initially I am saying, let us say they are 5, 5. After some time we can say that when you tilt it, let us say instead of 5, 7 meter is inside the water, and here your 7 meter is outside the water. It will tilt like this. So if I say like this, if I tilt this body, then this will be the shape of the body. If I tilt this like this, this will be the shape of the body. I'll make here. Here we go. This will be the shape of the body after tilting. right? Here we have more height above and we have less height here, right? And you join them, so I tilt this body like this, that this length will come inside the body and this length will go outside the body. I joined it. Now you can see that this side will come inside the fluid and this side will go outside the fluid, right? Let us say that initially it is of 10 centimeter or 10 meter, both are of 10 meter and initially 5 meter are in the water and other 5 meter is outside the water. So I can say that now let us say all 7 meter is inside the water and rest is 3 meter here. So from here this is 3 meter, this is 7 meter, right? So now the shape of the fluid change. Now if I can say this is the body which is inside the fluid now. So if I make it bold, this is the body shape which is inside the fluid. When you tilt it, when you give it some rotational displacement or some rotational disturbance, if you give it, so this is the body which is inside the fluid, right? And with the red color we show the body in its initial equilibrium, so that you will be able to understand better, right? So this is the shape of the body after tilting, right? So this is the body. Now let us say if this is the 10 meter, I will say that let us suppose if we show the, let us say that now the axis of this body is this one. I can say that this is the axis of the body now. This is the axis of the body, final axis of the body, you can say. This is the final axis of the body after tilting, right? Right. So now if you see from here that, if I mark the fluid surface, or if I mark the body surface which is inside the fluid, so if I mark it, let us say this shape of the body, this shape of the body will be inside the fluid, right? This shape of the body will be inside the fluid. You will feel the difference that here the body is of this shape which is inside the fluid, here the shape will change when you tilt this body. And if I can say, let us say that this is the 5 meter point, middle point, and this is the 5 meter point, and if I join it, if I join these 2 points, so this is what is the axis X. Initial axis X is this one, right? This is the initial axis X, if we can say, make it more correct. If we make it more correct, then this is the axis X, this axis. So we can say that initially this body is inside the fluid. Now this body, this highlighted body is inside the fluid. So you can say that that if after seeing this you can say that, sir, this much amount of body on the right side, this much amount of body will come inside the fluid, and this much amount of body from the left side will go out of the fluid, right? This much amount of the body will come inside the fluid, and this much amount of this hatched area, this much amount of body will go outside the fluid. Now we can say, if we will discuss it now, that the total volume, and you will appreciate this thing, that this volume will be equal to this volume. So the total volume of the fluid displaced is same. I am not saying the volume of the fluid change. The total volume of the fluid displaced, in both these cases, the total volume of fluid displaced is same. This volume and this volume is same. But what happen is, if you see from here, that the mass distribution, this is the axis, the mass distribution on the left side of this axis and on the right side of the axis is same. Now the mass distribution of the fluid displaced is more towards the right side and it is less towards the left side, right? This body will tilt like this. So if you see in the right side, this much amount of the fluid is displaced, and in the left side this much amount of the fluid is displaced. So I can say that after tilting, the fluid mass distribution will increase towards the right side. Mass distribution of the fluid which is displaced will increase towards the right side, and we know that the center of buoyancy will depend upon the mass distribution of the fluid. So if the mass distribution of the fluid the more mass of the fluid is towards the right side, so the center of buoyancy will shift towards the right side. Now in this case, the center of buoyancy will shift towards the right side. So in case of the partially submerged bodies, when you tilt it, the location of the center of buoyancy will change. If we talk about the completely submerged bodies, in that the mass distribution or the mass distribution of the fluid displaced will not change. That's why we can say that the center of buoyancy will not change, because if you see from here, let us say this is the free surface, if this is the body here, and if I tilt this body, right, mass displacement, fluid displacement is same in both the case, right? Here is this one, only the direction, only this body rotate. But now if you see, let us say that this is the initial axis and this is the final axis, the mass distribution of the fluid displaced will remain same on the right hand side and left hand side of this axis. It will not change. So that's why the center of buoyancy will not change, right? So we say that in the completely submerged body, center of buoyancy will not change. But if we talk about the partially submerged body, center of buoyancy is changing because your fluid is displaced, fluid displacement will be more towards the right side, the mass distribution will be more towards the right side, and the mass distribution is less here. So the center of buoyancy will change, will shift in this direction. Center of buoyancy will shift in this direction, right, towards right. Center of buoyancy will shift towards right. Fine. If we make, this is for your understanding. Now we will see that what happened, right? Same body, same, we will make it another diagram. This I make it just to understand you why the center of buoyancy is changing if you tilt the body when the body is partially submerged or the floated, in case of a floating body, right? Let us, this is the free surface. Right, we'll make this diagram again. Now we have to see why there is a need of meta center. Why there is a need of meta center. I hope you understand the concept that why the center of buoyancy shift in case of floating bodies, why the center of buoyancy shift. Now let us say that we'll make this diagram again. I am saying this is initial body, right? Dotted line, with the dotted line I am showing it. This is the initial shape of the body. Right, this is the initial shape of the body. Then we tilt it, so we can say the body will be like this. We tilt this body and the body will take this shape. Right, the body will take this shape. Here the body will be more outside the right. Here this, if we can see, okay, some inclination is more here. Okay. So we can say that here this body is coming outside and on the right side the body is coming inside. This is the shape of the body after tilting. Right, this is the shape of the body after tilting. Now we have to see where is the center of gravity and center of buoyancy. We'll highlight it. This is the body. Right. Figures are most important. If you make a figure correctly, then you will be able to understand very easily what is happening with the body. That's why it takes a lot of time to make a correct figure. So that's why we are making separate figures for each and every concept, so that you can easily understand. This is the body now after tilting, and I am saying, let us say that this is the axis of the body, final axis of the body. This is the final axis of the body. Right, this is the final axis of the body. You must appreciate one thing, that the center of gravity of the body will not change. The center of gravity of the body will not change. Why? Because the mass distribution inside the body is not changing. The mass distribution inside the body is not changing. Only the orientation change, from vertical it will become horizontal or some inclined. Only the orientation will change, but the distribution of mass is not changing. So we will say that, suppose we can say that the center of gravity is here, G is here, let us say. So the center of gravity will lie at the same point. This is center of gravity. Center of gravity will lie at the same point, right? And I can say that this is the line of action of weight or gravity force. This black color line is, this line is the vertical line, and along this line I can say that along this line weight is acting. Along this line weight is acting. I am talking about this axis. Now this axis will be tilted, and I can say that initially the center of buoyancy is here, right? This is the center of buoyancy initially. But now, as you know, as you understand from this, the center of buoyancy tends to shift towards the right direction. So the center of buoyancy will shift right in this direction. Center of buoyancy will shift in this direction. So now just please focus here. Now what will happen? Now let us see what will happen. I am saying that, just understand guys, please. The center of buoyancy will shift in this direction. So there may be the three cases. There may be the three cases that center of buoyancy will shift at this position. Let us say B1. The center of buoyancy may shift. It all depends upon this angular displacement. More is the angular displacement, more will be the shift of center of buoyancy. Now center of buoyancy can shift up to here also. Let us say B2. And center of buoyancy can shift up to this point also. Let us say B3. I am writing here B3. Let us say B3. Right. If I say that, let us talk about case 1. Case 1. Case 1 is center of buoyancy is at B1. Center of buoyancy is at B1, at this place. If I say that we know from the center of gravity we have a vertically downward force, that is weight, and on the center of buoyancy we will have a buoyant force in the vertically upward direction. In the vertically upward direction, let us say the vertically upward direction is this one. This is the buoyancy force B1. Oh sorry, this is the buoyancy force FB, and I am saying, let us say this is B1, right? This point is B1. You can see from here, if the center of buoyancy will shift at this point and weight is acting downward, buoyancy force is acting downward, it will give you a couple in the clockwise direction. It will give you a couple in the clockwise direction, right? It will give you a couple in the clockwise direction. So if the center of buoyancy is at B1, then the couple will be in clockwise direction. And if the couple will be in the clockwise direction, you can say it is a unstable equilibrium. It is a unstable equilibrium. If the center of buoyancy will be at B1, new center of buoyancy will be at B1. So it is a unstable equilibrium. If we talk about case 2, case 2 is, let us say that this center of buoyancy is at B3. The center of buoyancy now is at B3, not at B1. I remove this. Let us say the center of buoyancy is at B3. So here we have a vertically upward force from this B3. We have a vertically upward force, that is the buoyancy force from B3, and you can see from here that this is acting in the upward direction, this is acting in the downward direction. You will get a couple in the anti-clockwise direction. So if the center of buoyancy is at B3, then you can say that couple is in counterclockwise direction. So if you tilt it in the clockwise direction, couple will be in the anti-clockwise, restoring couple will be in the anti-clockwise direction. So you can say it is a stable equilibrium. You can say it is a stable equilibrium. Now we will see that case 3. Let us discuss case 3. Case 3 is when the center of buoyancy is at B2. Center of buoyancy is at B2. Right? I remove it. Now let us say that the center of buoyancy is at B2, is here. So at this B2 we have a vertically upward force. At this B2 we have a vertically upward force, that is the buoyancy force. Vertically upward force, that is a buoyancy force. So we can say at this the line of action of weight and the buoyancy force is same. So the couple in this case is 0. And if the couple is 0, you can say this is a neutral equilibrium. This is a neutral equilibrium. Now what happen is, center of gravity is above the center of buoyancy. Right? Center of gravity is above the center of buoyancy. If it is a completely submerged body, we can easily say that it is a unstable equilibrium. But if we talk about the submerged bodies, partially submerged bodies, then if the center of gravity is above the center of buoyancy, we have unstable also, we have stable equilibrium also, we have neutral equilibrium also. So that is the reason that we cannot define which type of equilibrium the body has based on seeing the position of center of gravity and this center of buoyancy. You cannot tell. It may be unstable, it may be stable, it may be neutral equilibrium. So you cannot tell this, that where is the center of buoyancy, or where is whether the equilibrium is stable, unstable or neutral equilibrium. That's why you need another point by which you can say that by seeing the position of that point, whether the system is in stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium or neutral equilibrium. And that point which we want to specify the state of equilibrium is known as meta-center. Right? I hope you understand why you need a meta-center in case of partially submerged bodies to specify the state of equilibrium. Now, just pay attention guys, just pay attention here. We can say that if the center of buoyancy is between B to B2, if the center of buoyancy is between this B1 and B2, or you can say B and B2, if the center of buoyancy will at any point here, then it will be a unstable equilibrium. If center of buoyancy is in between this B2 and B3, then upward force will be there, it will give you a counterclockwise rotation, then it is a stable equilibrium. And if the center of buoyancy is at this B2, then it is a neutral equilibrium. Right? So we can say, now let us just pay attention here. Now we can say that if I rub this, okay, I'll rub this because it is already clear to you that why the center, this meta center is required. Right? First of all, let us define the meta center. Meta center. How we can find the meta center? Meta center is a point of intersection. Point of intersection of lines of action of buoyant force, lines of action of buoyant force before and after rotation. Before and after rotation. Before rotation, this is the line of action of buoyant force. After rotation, these are the lines of action of force. So we will say that before and after rotation, what is the where these two lines will intersect, that is known as your meta center. Now pay attention, guys. I can say I'm not drawing the axis, this body again and again. We only talk with respect to the axis. I'm only drawing the axis. This inclined axis I am showing here. This new axis of the body. This is the axis of the body, right? You have center of gravity somewhere here. This is the center of gravity you have, and from this center of gravity you have a vertically downward force. This will remain same. Center of gravity will not change. From this you have a weight acting in the downward direction, right? And this is your center of buoyancy before rotation. This is the center of buoyancy before rotation. Now we can say that if we want a stable equilibrium, just pay attention, guys. If you want a stable equilibrium, you need a restoring couple in the counterclockwise direction. So if this force is in the downward direction, you need a upward force from in the right side of this. You need a upward force in the right side of this weight, so that it will give you a counterclockwise rotation. So you need that, you say that, sir, that new center of buoyancy will be in the right side of this line of action. This line of action of weight. So I can say, if let us say we talk about this is the new center of buoyancy. This is the new center of buoyancy, let us say B, from here B3. This is the new center of buoyancy B3. And from this B3 we are saying that there is a force acting in the upward direction, that is a buoyancy force, and it will give you a clock and counterclockwise rotation, and the body will be in equilibrium. This is the initial axis of line of action of buoyancy force, and this is the final line of action of buoyancy force. I will say that if I extend it, then where the initial and final axis of line of action of center of buoyancy force or the buoyancy force, the intersection of final and initial line of action of buoyancy force where it will intersect each other, that is known as meta center. That is known as meta center. And you will appreciate one thing, that if the center of buoyancy, new center of buoyancy will be in the right side of this line, then you will get always a stable equilibrium. You will get always a stable equilibrium. So if you extend, let us say if here is the center of buoyancy, if you will extend this line, it will cut here. So you can say this diagram is for stable equilibrium. This diagram is for a stable equilibrium. So in that case you can say, if meta center is above the center of gravity. If the meta center is above the center of gravity, we have stable equilibrium. We have stable equilibrium, right? Similarly, if we talk about unstable equilibrium, this is the axis, this is the axis. Similarly, if I am saying this is the center of gravity of the body, and I can say from this center of gravity we are having weight in the vertically downward direction, weight. This is the initial buoyancy force or center of buoyancy, initial. Let us say this is the initial center of buoyancy, and the final center of buoyancy, from that we will say, it is at B1. It shifts to this point B1. This is the final center of buoyancy, and we know that this is point B1. And we know that from the center of buoyancy we will have a vertically upward force that is known as buoyancy force. And you can see from here that it will give you a clockwise rotation, clockwise force, and this is a unstable equilibrium. So if I extend this new line of action of the center of buoyancy, if I extend it, it will cut this earlier line of action here, and this is known as meta center. This is known as meta center. And you can appreciate one thing, that if the center of buoyancy is shifting towards the right side, and if it is in between this B and this line of weight, then if it is between this region, in this region, then always you have a unstable equilibrium, because here you have a vertical force, upward force, here you have downward, you will get a clockwise rotation. So this is the example, this is the case of unstable equilibrium. Unstable equilibrium, when you can say when center of gravity is above the meta center, then you will get a unstable equilibrium, right? If center of buoyancy will be anywhere, in that case meta center is below the center of gravity, then you have a unstable equilibrium. Now let us talk about the neutral equilibrium. Now let us talk about the neutral equilibrium. We will say that, suppose this is the axis, this is the initial center of gravity or the center of gravity of the body. From here we have a vertically downward force, that is weight. Initial center of buoyancy is this B, and if let us say the center of buoyancy will shift to this B2, if center of buoyancy will shift to this B2, so from this center of buoyancy you will have a vertically upward force, that is the buoyancy force, and if I extend this line, it will cut the original initial axis or initial line of action of buoyancy force at this point only. So this is the meta center. This is the meta center, and here you can see that buoyancy force and this weight will act at the same point. There is no couple. So this is a neutral equilibrium. This is a neutral equilibrium. So I can write, if meta center and centroid or center of gravity coincides, you will get a neutral equilibrium. So you have to remember this thing, right? In the completely submerged bodies, I can say that if the center of buoyancy is above center of gravity, we have stable. Center of buoyancy is below the center of gravity, we have unstable. And center of buoyancy and center of gravity coincide, we have neutral. In partially submerged, just you can replace the center of buoyancy with the meta center. So if M is above the G, stable. If M is below the G, unstable. If they both coincides, we have neutral equilibrium. So this is the concept of rotational stability in case of a floating bodies. That's why we need that's why I can say that that's why we need a meta center. I hope you understand the concept, that from where this word, from where this new center, that is meta center, will come, and what is the need of it, right? So this is all about the your rotational stability of the floating bodies.